Here, okay.
Well, she just had a
You look
birthday a couple
amazing.
weeks ago.
So, where were you born? And what was it like whenever you were growing up there?
You may have to get up closer.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Where were you born?
Center Ridge, Arkansas.
What was it like there whenever you were growing up?
Pretty primitive.
Yeah?
But my daddy was a rural mail carrier, and we had about the only car in town at that time. 1927. Did I say that?
No, 1927? Were they like, was it horses, or were they just walking?
What?
Would they ride horses if they didn't have a car, or would they just walk?
Well, the horses were just for fun.
Okay.
I had two older brothers, and they had ponies. They didn't call them horses. They were just ponies for fun.
Yeah. But your dad had the only mail in town? The only car in town?
Pardon what?
You said your dad had the only car in town?
The other mail drivers had a car.
Okay. So, what did your mom do?
She taught school until women had to stop when they married and had children. They had to stop for a while. And then, but she taught my brothers and me, I guess, till I got up there.
What do you remember most about your parents?
My parents?
Yeah.
My daddy was very sweet-tempered. He was so pleasant and liked to joke. He loved the Cardinals. No matter what was on TV, he'd say, "See if you can get a Cardinals game." And the boys would try to find one. Sometimes they couldn't. Once or twice they made trips, a bus trip to St. Louis to a Cardinals game.
Very nice.
And how much do you want to know about Pop?
As much as you want to talk about.
Okay. He was an avid Republican from the way back to the Civil War. It was in his blood. And he did quite a bit of little county, in Conway County. He did political, not loud and boisterous, you know. But he became a friend of Winthrop Rockefeller. And you know that. So, he was a friend of Jim Bill McIntyre. No, Jim Bill Burnett, who was a friend of your dad. Jim Bill was a little older than your dad. But, let's see, it's easy to lose. Oh, I know where I was. I thought I knew where I was.
Your dad was involved in politics?
What?
Your dad was involved in Republican politics?
Oh, I was going to say, you will sit there, honey? When Pop got appointed to the Republican convention as a representative to San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And so he selected this aide or scout or whatever they call it, young person to go with him. And so he accepted. You want to see it?
No,
He selected Jim Bill Burnett to go with him because he was very young, very avid Republican young citizen. So they started to get on the plane, and Jim Bill was nervous and his dad was nervous. So his dad said to the pilot, said, "Well, this is our first trip and we're nervous." And have you heard that? And so the pilot said, "Well, rest assured, it's not my first trip."
That's what be good to hear.
Yeah.
How about your mom?
She was an avid reader. She loved to read. She loved to write. She's got books and books and books of notebooks that she would compose. You know, there were pictures and all kinds of pictures, and especially during the war, World War II. She was lonely. My brothers both served in World War II. And there were no phones at that time. And so she was lonely. And so she would just write and write and send by airmail sometimes. And they'd go a long way and then take forever to get back. But that was the only way of communicating. Can you imagine no phone back then?
I mean, not forever. I don't think I could do it forever.
Well, that was back in 48, no, 46. The war ended in about 46, 45.
I think it's 46.
46.
46, 45, 46.
Okay.
Mom and Dad got married in 43 and it was still going on.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a traumatic time because one of my brothers was stationed on an island out in off of Alaska. And there was no communication. And my other brother was stationed in England. He was a bombardier, and he hated it. He did not want to be a bombardier. He felt guilty being the one that dropped the bomb. He did not want that. He signed in to be a navigator, but they didn't put him there. And he was a nervous person. And they started making trips across the Atlantic from England to France and Germany. And he was, like I said, he was very nervous. And he had a nervous breakdown over all that he saw among the fighting. And he felt guilty because he wasn't among the ones that was shot down. He felt like he should have been among that group that died, because several of them did die. But he was brought to shore and given treatment and then brought back to the States to recuperate. So he came home for a while. And he went back to college for a short time. He liked to study. He made good grades. Both my brothers did. My oldest brother had 4 years of college and 1 year of law up here in 4 years. Now that shows you what kind of grades he made.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to Farrell, my brother, my youngest brother. He was just 2 years younger than my older brother. So after he kind of recuperated, he joined the maritime service. He could not rest idle and not serve his country. So he served the maritime and made some trips to Japan because he wanted to serve. Do you want to switch to another subject?
No. You went to Japan, and then what happened?
Well, after the war was over, kind of a truce was made with Japan. Then he came back. Both my brothers settled in New Orleans. And it was a good time for building. And they both were pretty good builders. So they got in as partners, they got in the construction business on the coast down there in New Orleans and Gulfport and I used to know that. They're not Townsend, you know. New Orleans and Galveston and anyway, I'll think I will. But the sad story is my oldest brother was named Orvid, and he hated his name. His mother picked unusual name, Orvid and Farrell. Farrell wasn't so bad, but he changed it just bad.
Well, hey, party. I didn't see it. Who was in the How are you?
Good, how are you? I'm sorry, I'm a little, I tried to dry off a little.
Oh, you're
I went and
fine.
ran and
I didn't know what you were
Changed
doing.
in
I
the
was just
car.
letting you know we were here. So.
Well, I
If you
thought
could.
you might have been, and I was like, I ran close, so
Oh.
but I just changed in the car.
That worked.
Did you want a chair? There's more chairs in there.
He's interviewing her.
Oh, okay.
No,
So you good?
they're talking. We don't know that. Okay?
I just heard you guys real quick.
Yes.
Just a,
Good to see you.
it's good to see you. Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Hey,
Hello. I'm sorry, I was gonna let him finish.
that's a
I know, I've been out in the wind, so
Well, did you get my message?
I did. We'll see if I can be here while she's here. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I don't know what time she's going to come, but we'll know.
Okay. Well, I've talked to him already, so we'll see what they say.
Can we?
I talked to the nurse, but I'll try to catch her before I go.
Okay. Thank you. Stay and visit, won't you?
Well, I'm gonna wait and let him interview you.
Okay.
Y'all do that. We'll
Let's step
talk
outside.
in the hall and visit.
Okay. They were building,
Yeah, they were building in Louisiana.
they named them, they were a lot of pine trees down in between, but let's see, whatever the next one. And they named those buildings, they built apartments in the beginning, and they named them Pine Crest. What's the pine tree? And they were kind of born salesperson. Let's see, what do I want? Come here. Well, I don't have to. Just don't forget. Tie me up a bit.
Yeah.
Tie me up. Anyway, Orvid, the older one, had two sad marriages. But anyway, he was going on with his building and his life and all. But he had started one day from Biloxi, from New Orleans. They lived in New Orleans. And he had started from New Orleans to Biloxi, which is that way east. And he was in a black, wasn't a Mercedes, it was a Cadillac. He was in a black Cadillac. Well, he had been on a ship with black people. He had no qualms about picking up black people. Have you ever read all this?
No.
No, okay. Well, I've written it somewhere, but that's okay. He picked up this black hitchhiker. And I don't know how far, well, I do know how far they got to. They got to a place called I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Pass Christian, I believe. You could look it over. And the black man pulled out a gun and shot him and left him out in a swamp for about 14 days before they found him. And of course my whole family, which is devastated, when they finally got his body up to Center Ridge and got him buried. When my mother went to the cemetery, she just fell to the knees and cried. Because it was so senseless. All he got was we gathered about $30. But he took the car, of course, and got up as far as New York. But they found it immediately from the license. And they just took the car and they switched her. And it was so useless. They took his life, the black person, they executed him. And it was just devastating. But my mother said, somebody said to her, well, the Lord willed it. And my mother said, no, the Lord didn't will that. That was Satan that sent somebody like that. No, the Lord doesn't send things like that to good people. And anyway, it went on. You get through it. You go through it day by day. And so Pharaoh, he never could even drive down the street that his brother lived on. It was so sad. But he married a French girl whose daddy had come down there too. His daddy was in the Coast Guard. Her daddy. Her name was Georgia. And a wonderful sister-in-law. They were married, I think, 50-something years. Till he died with a heart attack. He was just laying in bed like this. And Georgia was standing like that. And he said, be quiet. And we did, and he died. But then Georgia died. Not long after that.
Girls, here's some juice, Jerry. This year's Mary, some juice, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Georgia died with glaucoma, no, leukemia, and that was painful, but it didn't last real long. But it goes to say that the service there at Morrison was not what it should have. They should have gotten her to a specialist. And her doctor, his doctor, had gone on vacation. My brother's doctor had gone on vacation when he should have been attending. He wasn't even in ICU when he died there at Morrison. That hospital is so crummy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
People that I know don't take patients at Morrison anymore. They go straight on to Conway or Little Rock.
What was the first house that you lived in after you left your childhood house? What was it like?
Well, I went to college.
Okay, what was that like?
It was fun. I had fun, and I studied enough to make passing grades.
Where'd you go to college?
What?
Where'd you go to college?
At Harding, in Searcy, Harding College.
Harding?
Do you have some classmates from there?
Yeah, I have some friends who are there right now. What'd you study? What did you study?
Home economics.
Home ec?
Well, who do you know from there?
Amelia Shoemake is her name.
Well, I bet her parents used to live here, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Is she a freshman?
She's a sophomore.
What do you know her out there where you are?
Yeah, she went to Bixby with me.
You mean she goes to Bixby?
She went to Bixby High School, and now she's going to Harding.
Oh.
So we know each other from Bixby.
Okay.
So that's where she's from.
Well, if you get a chance, tell her that your great-great-grandmother went to Harding.
I will have to let her know.
Yeah.
What did you do after college?
Well, I taught 1 or more years at Lima Vista. That's the funny name of the school. It's in the Ridge. one year, and this man taught class in another school down closer to Lawton. And we courted in a night class. They had night classes for teachers. And we kind of courted like that. And then he pursued me. And I was stupid enough to give in. And so we married in June, 6th of June. And it's been a little while. It's been all downhill.
It's been all downhill. What happened?
Well, the boys were the best thing that happened. 4 boys. But I guess it's okay to tell you the dishwater. Your grandpa was very controlled. Not your grandpa.
Great.
Your great. He was so controlling. But it was subtle. Nobody saw it but me. On the surface, he was super nice. But in behind, he wouldn't let me write a check after a while. Of course, I had my own checkbook a lot of the time and had my own money, but he wanted to control it. I had money that Pop had given me some. My brothers had given me some. I had sold my part of the farm at Center Ridge, and so I had always had money of some sort. But he wanted to control it all. It just, and so finally, after 57 years, he filed for divorce. Well, to back up, this is kind of a silly way, but anyway, it all goes together. The church, he went to the Methodist church. I went to the Christian church across the street. So they were having a potluck. Am I running out of?
No, you have plenty of time.
Okay. We were having potluck at the Methodist church. So I preached the casserole for him. And I was going to go on over to the Church of Science, or actually it's a Christian church. And so he was standing there. I was driving. It was cheaper to go in one car. He counted all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he was standing there by the car with the casserole. So he backed off from the car, and I drove on over.
Sorry about that.
What?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
What are you most proud of when you're home with your kids?
And grandkids and great grandkids.
And what was the biggest thing that's changed in like the way that the world works from whenever you were born till recently?
Say it again.
What's the biggest thing that's changed in the world that you think is the biggest difference?
What was the last phrase?
The biggest difference. What thing has happened that's had the biggest change?
I guess I would say electronics,
Yeah.
and especially devices like that, and the fact that I can't use a computer anymore. I wore out 3 or 4, and it makes me sad. Once in a while I get a techie in here, and he'll help me find some people on that. Have you ever worked a portal?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It's very fun if the people answer their phone. But they have to have their phone. What do you have at your place?
I have a computer.
You don't have a portal?
I don't have a portal.
Well, I don't know what I'll elaborate on, other than your pa's reputation was not real good. Now, this may not sound good coming from me, but it's the truth. They said that other women out there at the office where he used to hang out said, don't leave your door unlocked for Mr. D. He'll come in on you. He did not have a good reputation. They said, beware of him. And this was between the women that had worked in that office where he worked. And they told me. So I'm not just making it up.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that Mr. Oh, I know his name, Roy Van Houston was the lawyer. And I told you, he saw the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so he saw that I get half of everything, which was fair. I think that's pretty much the rule in common. But I was so happy. But it made me so nervous. For a long time, I'd see a man with a bald head like him, or a hat like he wore. I would just freeze up. It made me so nervous.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Want to be what?
What do you want to be like remembered for? So,
What can I be with?
what do you want to be remembered for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
Love of Jesus and compassion for others, especially my little people. I love you all. Wish we lived closer.
Do you remember, we talked about World War II a little bit,
Okay.
but what about any of the other big events that happened, like the Civil Rights Movement or Vietnam?
Well, I don't know of anything particularly like that. Let me think a minute. I read a book. It has a weird name, but in it was set at the time that my brother Farrell was in England, and so it appealed to me. The name of it is, if I can say it, the Guernsey. You might check it out. You wouldn't be as interested as I am, but it might hold your interest. Guernsey Society of Sweet Potato Pie. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But it was so, like I said, it was set at the time my brother was in England. And so it appealed to me. And that's the odd name. The Secret Society of
Sweet potato.
the Secret Society of Women, I think it was. It was still war going on. And it was, then it was sweet potato pie. They were having to disguise and just hide stuff. And I think they hid stuff in the pie. So, it's been a long time since I've heard that. But it brings back memories.
Yeah.
And I can't keep my, see, I've got glasses, prescribed glasses, but I don't have them synchronized with my readers. You know what readers are. And so they don't either one help me a great deal if I don't have them together. These beds are too small.
Well, I've got probably one more question for you. Let's do, if you could pick one story that you want us to pass down and tell our kids, what would it be?
A story?
From your life. A story from your life where you learned something, or just a good story that you want to be remembered by. What would it be?
I would say, and you may think this is too brief, but to love Jesus with all your heart and to spread the love. Spread the love. It's easy to do that. It takes others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your family, your granny's been a good example. She's led y'all in the right direction. I'm cold.
Well, thank you for answering my question.
Oh, you're so welcome. Will I get to see it sometime?
Yeah. I will send it over.